Become a patron at www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm for hard to find books, scans of rare photos, and articles on the Golden Era of bodybuilding. Hi everybody, Golden Era Bookworm here. Today I'd like to talk about Marvin Eder, who is believed to be, pound for pound, the strongest pre-steroid bodybuilder that ever lived. By combining weightlifting with bodybuilding, he developed his physique to a tremendous degree, and not only did he look strong, but he was immensely strong. At 5'8", he weighed 200 pounds, arms of 19 inches, chest of 15 inches, 26-inch thighs, and 17.5-inch calves. A true beast at only 5'8". Incredible. Today we're going to look at his strength feats, training methods, and some amazing stories about Marvin Eder's legendary strength. I hope you enjoy this video. Known as the Biceps from the Bronx, Marvin Eder burst onto the bodybuilding scene by winning the Junior Mr. America in 1949, as well as other titles including Mr. New York, Mr. East Coast, Mr. Eastern America, and even Mr. Northern America, if I am correct. Many regard Marvin Eder as the strongest and best developed bodybuilder from the Silver Era, but unfortunately he retired at the age of 23. At the time he had just come third in the 1951 Mr. America, and he was stripped of his amateur status because there was a war, a political war between Wader and Hoffman, and he was never allowed to compete in the AAU weightlifting events or other bodybuilding competitions run by the AAU due to this political war. And I think what started all of this was Eder's photos being featured in the Wader Muscle Mags, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. It's so sad to see how the Iron Game politics back then killed the incredible potential of Marvin Eder. Here is a photo of the incredible Marvin Eder, I believe, pressing over 500 pounds at under 200 pounds body weight, apparently drug-free. Incredible feats of strength. Speaking of strength feats performed by Marvin Eder, I previously covered his incredible dip strength when he performed these amazing feats of strength, and I'll recap where he basically performed a dip with two men hanging off him, as shown in this photo here, weighing up to 420 pounds in total for 7 repetitions. He also broke Jack LaLanne's record of 1,000 bodyweight dips in 17 minutes. And here are some of his further feats of strength as recorded in the 1950s, in the early 1950s. Deep squats with 300 pounds for 50 reps. He would also deep squat with 550 pounds for reps. Insane amount of weight. Side laterals, cheating side laterals, mind you, he does admit to that, using 120 pound dumbbells. He would perform one-arm chins for several reps, and in a match, which I'll talk about later, against Doug Hepburn, he performed 10 with his left and 11 with his right. One-arm chins. Incredible strength in his arms. The press behind the neck, he could perform with 305 pounds, and in front, so presses in front, such as seated presses as an example, 340 pounds. 340 pounds for reps. Insane. He had also performed the bent press, which I have covered in a very recent video on the Saxon brothers. He would actually perform 200-pound bent presses holding a man up. Incredible. He was the first, as I mentioned earlier, he was the first man to perform a 515-pound bench press weighing under 200 pounds. So Marvin Eder was known to weigh about 195 pounds. And at that weight, he could bench press over 500 pounds, which is absolutely insane. His stiff arm pullover, he could perform 250 pounds on that, and he would also perform wide grip chin-ups, 80 repetitions using his own body weight, or strapping 250 pounds on himself, he could perform up to 8 repetitions. This guy was truly a superman, a real superhuman. Now you may be wondering if there are recorded photos of some of these strength feats, but I've shown you already the bench press feat. Here is Marvin Eder performing a 330 pound, I believe it's a press, a strict press overhead. So there you go. What is his training approach? What was his training approach? Well, Marvin Eder's approach was very unique in that he used really high intensity. One could call him the original Mr. Intensity. He had, as he put it, no light days. He would train as heavy as possible every single day. He had no light days. So this is what you would absolutely call intense training. In respect to the combination of Olympic weightlifting and bodybuilding, I wouldn't necessarily call this unique. This was very common among silver era bodybuilders, hence why to so many bodybuilders nowadays, their strength, their ability to use these poundages is almost, in their minds, incredible. It's almost unrealistic, but it is not. These guys, through Olympic weightlifting and bodybuilding training, have developed insane amounts of strength in their joints, in the tendons and ligaments, which allows them to use insane poundages. Of course, Marvin Eder admits to being a genetic freak. He had strong joints, super strong joints, and amazing recuperative abilities to be able to train in this way, and he does not recommend at all to train in the same fashion that he could. He simply could because he was built that way. In regards to food, this is the most upsetting thing of all for most people, is that he basically just ate normal food, no supplements. We're talking chicken, steak, fish, whole grains, vegetables, fruit, a whole food diet. It's as simple as that. The guy was just a beast. He was a Superman. And yeah, one of the greatest, if not the greatest pound for pound, strongest and best built bodybuilders from the silver era. Incredible man. Now finally, I'd like to recount the story. In 1951, there was a match, a very famous strongman match between Doug Hepburn, arguably one of the strongest men of all times, versus Marvin Eder. Doug Hepburn weighed 70 pounds, at least 70 pounds heavier than Marvin Eder, yet in this very famous match, Marvin Eder basically met him in all of his challenges. So for example, the bench press came up and Marvin Eder performed a strict bench press with 430 pounds, while at 440 pounds, Doug Hepburn was bouncing this weight off his chest, much to the crowd's amusement. This is the report given about the 1951 match. I mean, we're talking about 10 pounds greater than Eder, but Eder would perform 430 strict, whereas Hepburn had to bounce 440 off his chest, weighing 70 pounds more than the much smaller Eder. Hepburn followed this with a challenge of 90 pounds, that is 245 plates strapped together using a leather belt, I believe, and Hepburn held it out. So this is the holdout, literally, with 90 pounds, which he held out for 5 seconds, whereas Eder matched this and beat him, holding it out for 10 seconds. That's an incredible amount of shoulder strength right there. Eder continued during this challenge to match all of Hepburn's strength feats, and in the end, he performed 10 one-arm chins with his left and 11 with his right, as I mentioned earlier. And of course, Doug Hepburn could not do this because of his incredible weight. So instead, he got onto a one-arm handstand, and the match was over. It is said that Eder was one of the greatest, and who better to quote than Pat Casey, one of the strongest men ever, the first man to bench over 600 pounds. And in his own words, quote, "Pound for pound, Marvin Eder was probably the strongest man of all time." Really one hell of a statement from one of the strongest men of all time too. There you have it. So I hope you've enjoyed watching this video on the great Marvin Eder, arguably one of the strongest men to ever walk this planet. And I know I'm going to cop a lot of slack on this video because of the claims of Marvin Eder, but remember, they are his claims and not mine. And it's hard for me to argue his own claims because at his old age right now, or at least from what I've read, he can still perform some pretty mighty strength feats. It's just amazing what this man is capable of. If you've enjoyed watching the video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't to the Golden Era Bookworm. Leave me a comment, and again, thank you for watching. If you'd like to support my work, please donate via PayPal, or you can become a patron, www.patreon.com/Golden Era Bookworm. Or you can purchase some of my courses on Steve Reeves, Reg Park, and Eugene Sandow on my webpage, goldenerabookworm.wixsite.com/website. I've been getting some complaints from people saying that the website does not allow for online payments. It should. If not, you can always go via PayPal as well and just use PayPal. Again, that's goldenerabookworm@gmail.com. Anyway, that's it for me. This is the Golden Era Bookworm. Bye for now. Visit goldenerabookworm.wixsite.com/website for courses from the Bronze and Silver era of bodybuilding.